Hi, Allie.
Hi, Steve. Can I welcome everybody? Is it time?
Please. Yes, I'm just trying to stop the stupid phone. I don't know why.
You
I
sound
know.
like a caller from the
Focus
break.
on Allie, Higgins. Focus on Allie. Stop calling me.
Welcome, everyone, alive and undead tonight, apparently, to the action-packed Halloween edition of our Steve Spangler Everyday STEM session, where we are going to answer all of your pressing Halloween questions. Tonight's PD is sponsored by Kesler Science. We're happy to bring this to you. If you are a member of the Kesler Science membership, then you know that you get the recording of this for 30 days after it is done. We'll get that published tomorrow. If you are here as a guest, then we hope that you just enjoy spending some time with some like-minded people who share your passion about education and that you enjoy being inspired by all of the things that Steve has to show you. I'm going to be back a little later to show you something special that we've been working on, these Spangler STEM starters, and everyone, guest or member, is going to get a little treat from that tonight. As you can imagine, Steve, he's had some interesting Halloween experiences over the years, and as a result, he could occupy an entire day doing science demos for Halloween. Now, we've asked him to share 1 hour tonight, but he and his team have created a 4-hour workshop that he's going to tell you about a little bit later that you can also participate in. I hear a funny sound. What is that sound? It's this door to the laboratory.
The door to the laboratory is open, Higgins. That's our cue to start. Call the fire department, Carly. Allie, huge thanks for inviting me. I just sit here for 30 days. I do nothing for the 30 days between Kesler PDs, and I just sit here and wonder, when are you going to call? And then you finally call. Many times today, in fact, you called and you called and you called. So happy. Thanks for the try. We have a lot of people who have signed up for tonight, so we've got a lot of people who are in the room tonight. I only get to see on my big screen the people who have their video on, so huge thanks for turning on your video because it's interactive. I get a chance to see you. You get to see and hear. Why not? Vice versa, right? Thanks for everybody who's there, and then all the people who are not here that are watching this as a recorded kind of thing. Huge thanks for popping in just a little bit later on. So we get always emails the very next day from people who are watching this overseas and wake up in the morning. This is a heck of a way to wake up in the morning. So huge thanks, and a huge thanks to Kesler Science for doing this. Needless to say, I do love Halloween. If you are brand new to me, you stumbled in here because you heard there's some free PD. We're going to do something for tonight. Halloween is a huge part of my backstory. I'm not going to give you all of that tonight for sure, but suffice it to say, changed everything for me in terms of Halloween. Part of it was building those connections. So we're going to talk about that tonight. One of the things that I noticed, without giving you all the details, is that it was the first time in my teaching career that I watched kids lean in. Physically lean in. There was a kid who I was visiting a second grade class at Willow Creek Elementary, and the teacher afterwards goes, "Well, I don't know what magic you got, but that's the first time the kid has cared the entire year." And I go, "What do you mean cared?" He stopped while I was doing something. I was doing a slime recipe. Remember, this was 1991, so this was long before the slime craze. I'm showing kids how to make slime, and I'm doing the recipe, and he goes, "Stop, I need to get a paper and a pen, and I'll be right back." And he walks over to the area, gets it, and you could have heard a pin drop. The kid's like, all the other kids were like, he cares. He's writing something down for the very first time. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's that stupid thing right there. It is this book. I swear, this silly book has been with me forever and ever and ever. I'm going to show you how to make yours tonight, okay? The reason I'm going to show you how to make yours tonight is because I got an email, what would you say, Higgins, 2 weeks ago from the kids? Yeah. I got an email from a wonderful lady who says, might not remember me, but I was a 5th grader back a long time ago. I'm 35 now, and 9 of us stayed connected from that class, and we're all meeting back up again. Is there any way you would send us a video from our science teacher when we were in 5th grade? First of all, when anybody says, I'm 35 now, and I was in your class a long time ago, it just makes you feel special. And the second part is, how would they remember and guess the one thing out of everything that I busted myself doing, though it's the one thing that this wonderful lady and these people who are going to gather, they wanted in the video? Steve and his Book of Fire. Would you please do the Book of Fire one more time for us? Look, it's nothing compared to this, but if it means that maybe you could grab their attention, because that's always been just an attention grabber, I'm going to show you how to do it. Fair enough? First of all, many of you know backstory. I grew up in this family, weird people, magicians, and so forth. So a fire book is just a standard prompt that magicians have had for years and years and years. I can't remember a time in my life I didn't see a magician using a fire book. So over the years, I have collected dozens. Now, I just grabbed a couple, but I have dozens and dozens of fire books. Honestly, my wife's like, why do you need all of these fire books? And they're all a little bit different. They're a weird kind of a weird thing in a collection. I'm going to show you. People have said over the years, well, why don't you just produce these and sell them in your store when you owned Steve Spangler Science a long time ago? One word. It's not the secret word for tonight, but the one word is liability. That's right. So right now, as I'm looking at you in the camera, I'll teach you how to make this, but you're on your own. All right. You got it from there. You're absolutely 100% on your own. This is just for educational purposes. What you decide to do with it, go from there. All right. So here's the kicker is that sometimes they looked a little wonky. Like you look at some of these, this is a professional one, but that doesn't really, it doesn't even look like a book. So you see kind of what that looks like there. So here's the basic premise for all of them. If I hold up and kind of look at this. So this one is actually made out of a book. This one was a strange one I got from England, a dealer in England, actually handmade this one, cut the pages out of the book, inset this whole thing right there. That's how this one was made. I'm going to show you a much easier way to do it. But in short, here's what happens. I always use lighter fluid like this. So this is what I've gotten in my stocking for, how old are the kids? 23. So Jack is 23. So for the last 23 years at Christmas, I get this in my stocking. The boys just know to put this in my stocking at Christmas, and that will be the greatest thing ever because I go through about 50 bottles a year. All right, so here we go. This gets loaded up with our lighter fluid that's here like this, and you build the connection from there. So that's it. Now, some of you are like, well, is there special fire retardant? No, there's not. There's not. It's black because it's burned for a while. This is a striker that's here. Now, I'm going to show you the other fancier ones, but all I do is a little strike like that, and that gives me the fire. So there's our fire from there, and wham, it's closed. So over the years, million things. It could say Halloween secrets on it. It could say formulas and recipes. If you're a principal, it could say teachers who are on the chopping block. I don't know what it doesn't matter what it says, right? So you can just do whatever you want. So there's this one, but let me show you the one that you're going to make with all the materials that you need. Almost a one-stop shop. Hop in the car, head down to Hobby Lobby. That's right, Hobby Lobby. And you're going to find yourself this. So take a look at this. This is Hobby Lobby. It's $5 at Hobby Lobby. Fake book at Hobby Lobby. Got it? And this is the book that you're supposed to, I guess, hide money in or something like that. So you see, they're the fake books that are there. These are perfect. $5 and you are done. Got it? So now we have to build the little thing that's inside. Now I said one-stop shop. At Hobby Lobby, they do have this wicking material that I found for like a lantern or something. This could work, but the device that I've used, I love this one. This one's just a homemade book. I love this one because I just put this little insert that's in there, and then I found this Zippo lighter, and that's my secret. So there's my Zippo lighter that's there. So here we go. There's my lighter. Bingo. So that goes here, and I just kind of fashion that down in here like this. Bingo, and then here's the little pieces of wicking material that's up top there. That's it. So when I strike here like this, this lights up, and there's my book. Got it? A billion different ways to do it. Now, go ahead, you can search online if you want to and look for, at a magic shop, you can find a fire book. If you find a fire book online, you will find them like this. This is an electronic ignition. Take a look at this one. Doesn't fire all the time. Super expensive, doesn't work well. Here's another one with an electronic ignition, extremely expensive, batteries, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't work well. So when the chips are down and I want the silly book to fire up, this is exactly what I use. All right, so some of you are like, why again is he telling us that? Because I think that we're always looking for these opportunities to connect, right? We're always looking for an opportunity for kids to go, whoa, and they lean in, they engage. And as part of these PDs, I always try to throw something in as that engagement strategy. And I think the words of Don Herbert, Mr. Wizard, are well used, I guess, or we should heed his advice, especially during this kind of stuff. Don't let the gee whiz overtake the content, right? We're still trying to connect to content, something that's great for the kids to learn. This was always my opportunity to throw in the things that weren't in the curriculum necessarily. So I could load up the cart. If you know my story, the AV cart, I could load up the AV cart with pretty much anything I wanted to do under the guise of Halloween. So that's why I'm saying it's all about building a connection. So your little fire book is nothing but building a connection, right? Light up, you dumb thing. About building a connection. However you're going to connect it along the way, it's just one of those things that they will remember forever and forever and ever. Gets put away. I don't show them how it works, and you're right into something else. Got it? So I had to show it to you just because that email came in a couple of weeks ago, made me feel good. And I thought, you know, I got to share with the teachers, because how is it that all those years ago, that was 25 years ago, that those kids would have remembered, and that's the one thing they asked me to show. Higgins.
Just one question that came through a few times was the metal insert that you showed in that one book. Did you make that or did you purchase that?
No, that was made for me. So again, this was a book that somebody made. So again, you Google fire books or whatever it is. This was a manufactured one. So somebody took aluminum, bent that, and did this. So I'm showing you something that was purchased, right? Somebody made this. It's been around for years and years and years. This is the one that I travel with and I use all the time. I use it on television. I use it when I speak. That's just the one that I made that fires up every single time. It's not pretty, but it fires up every single time. Okay, so lots of different variations or whatever, but I don't put a lighter that actually has the liquid that's inside, the butane that's inside or something. Don't do that. I like those little striker lighters that will strike, and that spark will cause ignition. But right now, I'm looking right at you. Educational purposes only. I absolve myself of all liability. It's all yours. Run, okay? Whatever you want to do with it, go with it, okay? All right. I love things that glow. I think that kids love things that glow. Whenever they see that eerie green glow, I want them to think Halloween. I want them to think fluorescence. Maybe we're talking about phosphorescence, a very different kind of thing, something that fluoresces, that requires energy, right? So that will give off energy, something that is phosphorescent, something that takes in energy and then gives back that energy. The photons go, the electrons pop up to a higher level, come back down again, and in the process, those photons are released and something will glow. So you get all of those kinds of things. I thought we would talk about the science of glow. So a couple things that we have over here. Higgins will show you our black light. When is the best time in the whole world to buy your black light? November 1st. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to buy your black lights on November 1st with no problem. And let's see if we have, oh, this will work well. So here's our water, and we've got to get it to glow. Now, the whole idea is to make this DIY. So while I could send you, for example, to a Flynn Scientific, or I could send you someplace online to go and get some atomic glow. If you were a Steve Spangler Science customer back in the day, we sold lots and lots of atomic glow. The chemical formula for this, or the chemical name for this, is fluorescein. Fluorescein, don't worry about it. Carly is going to put a link in the chat a little bit later on, because we're going to talk about vampire veins. So you'll see both of those chemicals listed there, but it's called fluorescein. So that's the secret that's here. Fluorescein will glow under black light. So you can buy fluorescein or that concentrate if you wanted to, like from a Flynn Scientific or one of those. Or if you're a DIYer, you're just going to go out and you're going to get these highlighters. And so with no problem whatsoever, you can deconstruct one of these highlighters and you can steal the little insert out, okay? So kind of watch what happens here. You can take pliers if you want to, or a pair of scissors, kind of pop this in here, pop the end out like that. So pop the end out. Got it? And then there is a little tube that's there. You can see what I did here. I took the little insert out, or that little tube that you see in there, and that's where all the dye is. Got it? So I can do it a couple different ways. I can simply put it in the water that you see here, and now I get some atomic glow. And when I add this to water, like you'll see over here, when we dim the lights, you'll see kind of what it looks like. That will give us that eerie green glow. The other thing that you can do is if you want to keep it from molding, because it will do that sometimes, add some rubbing alcohol. So 50% rubbing alcohol, 50% water, which is just fine. So kind of a half and half. Or your rubbing alcohol, 70% rubbing alcohol is just fine. Just to add the rubbing alcohol kind of helps get some of that dye out of there as well, preserves it, and that's pretty good atomic glow. Add this to your slime for later on. Add it to, you're going to see a whole bunch of things that you can add it to, but that will give you your glow. Now you can do some pretty cool things with that. Once you're able to extract it from here, for example, then we can do some cool things. So if you turn off the lights, Higgs, for example, you should be able to see this. Oh yeah, this under here. Take a look at this as swirl this up and you can kind of see what that atomic glow looks like. So that, oh, that looks good. Look at that nice green that's there. Beautiful, beautiful. So there's your nice green glow. Now, when Higgins flips on the light once again, you'll notice that it doesn't keep on glowing. It's just this kind of cool green color. So it requires this ultraviolet light, this energy here to be able to glow. But even when I get it close here, when the lights are on, it still looks pretty cool, right? So you can kind of see it here and it still looks pretty cool. Now, to that end, there are a number of things that are popping up online. For example, you can combine that eerie green glow with, for example, a naked egg. So, you all know how to make naked eggs. You take an egg and you put the egg in vinegar. The vinegar breaks down the calcium carbonate that's there in the shell and you get a rubber egg. So Higgins today, just a little earlier today, took 3 of these highlighters and you just squeezed them out. Is that right, Higgs?
Yep.
Look at how much, I mean, they're really great with the glow. So with a pair of gloves, took this out and just didn't want to get his fingers stained forever and just squeezed the dye out of that little piece of cotton that's there into the vinegar. Now, not super strong vinegar. You just use the regular 5% vinegar. Is that right, Higgs?
That's what I use.
Got it? And so now this has just started, but it's starting to seep its way into the actual egg itself and looking pretty cool. So we're going to let that sit over time. But now those naked eggs will have a pretty cool appearance. And Higgs, if you flip on the lights once again, I'll get some stuff to clean up, but I'll show you 2 of them that I have started over here as an example. Let's see if one of these, oh, this will work well. So one of these started. I used the highlighter, same kind of thing there, but take a look at this now. If you go ahead and flip off those lights, you can see it took a little bit longer, but it's actually coming on the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's actually inside. I have this black light as well, so it's a little bit stronger. It's a pen black light. And so, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that in there. That looks great. So I can even flip this off. There you go, but just take a look at through there. Oh, that looks fantastic. So you can see the dye actually went into the egg as well. So the kind of that eerie green glow. How easy. All we had to do is take apart the highlighter. That, I think, is a great connector. So as an engagement strategy, the takeaway here is once I pull out magic chemicals from the magic chemical supplier, I don't think that I get the same connection with younger kids as I do with going, well, here, let's take this highlighter and see if we can take this apart. So some of you are like, well, then the kids are just going to be taking apart highlighters. Okay, well, whatever. But maybe they'll do the activity or they'll do what they have to do, which now leads you to, well, what about this one? That would be great. Or how about, there's a whole bunch of these that supposedly glow. I can tell you right now, so you don't waste the other 2, the only one that we found that works under black light really is this yellow. That yellow gives you kind of the greenish yellow color, that fluorescein color. Blue does not work, so when you try to put it in there, again, it doesn't glow under the black light, and neither does the red. I can put it over here, and you can kind of see that's the only pen that really glows. There are other glowing pigments that you can use along the way, but totally as a do-it-yourself kind of thing, this is the yellow one seems to work the best. So an easy way for you to be able to make absolutely anything glow. So later on, when you reach down and you get a little piece of dry ice, all right, there you go. So here's our little piece of dry ice. It's going to bubble away for us, or whatever we're using. Everything can have that cool, eerie glow. That looks great over here like this. So here's my glowing eerie potion, and easy to be able to do. Okay. All right. As always, if you have questions, you can throw them in the chat. And when you throw them in the chat, Carly and Allie and PJ and Higgins, they're all looking. And so Higgins, every once in a while across the way, will give us a question. He can show us the big cam up here. You can kind of take a look at the kitchen and what a mess this really is right now. There it is. That's what the studio looks like. And Higgins is off to the side over there. There you go. There's a thumbs up from Higgs. Good job. Yes, Higgs.
Really quick, I think it was kind of answered in the chat as well, but I had a handful of people asking, the egg that you put in the vinegar is raw, not boiled.
Correct.
So I just had
raw egg. So we're doing the old naked egg activity where you take the raw egg. We're going to dissolve the outer shell. That gives us that membrane that's left in there. Many times right around the Easter holidays, we'll do a whole bunch of egg stuff. And so the folding egg, all those other things are popular. I'm just grabbing an old experiment, tying it in with a glow since it seems to be kind of popular, popping up on Pinterest and some other places, and thought this might be kind of cool to talk about glow.
And then one last question that came up, few people were asking if tonic water would work as well.
Oh, so tonic water glows under black light. Tonic water has quinine. Part of the problem with that is it's not going to dissolve the shell, right? So what we're doing is and you don't have concentrated enough quinine or tonic water that wouldn't dissolve the vinegar too much, right? So the key here is you want to keep the vinegar at that strength, right? The regular strength, but we just want to put the dye in there. So although quinine water would be great, tonic water will work for other things to glow. Don't think it'll work well with that particular one. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't try though, right? All right. Great. While we're on highlighters for just a second, take a look at this. So you've got your atomic glow. Let's just go back to the highlighter. If you take the highlighter and good, you take the highlighter like this and you write a little message, for example. So here's our message. Oh, I used the pink, I guess, for this one, Higgins. I'm sorry. I just used the pink on this. Where there might be a secret message here. Do you think, Higgins? There might be a secret message. I think you can keep it on if you want. Let's see if there's a secret message here. I don't know. Let's see. Science rocks. Oh, science does rock. That's right. What kind of science rocks? Oh, yeah. Kesler science rock. I remember that. There it is right there. Look at that. There is our message. Yet when you turn on the light, that message isn't there at all. You can't see it at all. Seriously, you just can't see it. That's because it's on the back of the piece of paper. So the highlighter is written on the back of the piece of paper. So this highlighter here won't go through the paper, so you can't see it through the paper, so I can't see it here, but a black light back there will do it. Now, I just searched Amazon for all these different black lights. There's keychain black lights that we used to have, small little black lights. This is a pretty cool black light that is, I guess you charge it USB. I think it was all of $9, so it was pretty expensive. And but it was the one that the reader was doing at the airport. And I thought, well, that's kind of a cool thing. How does that look? Looks really cool through here. So there's how our message will show up this way as well. So there's our secret spooky message. Could be kind of fun because you can imagine your kids could write the story, right? But the added parts of the story are behind the back side of it. So they illustrate or they put little notes here. There's a secret message off to the side or whatever it might be, looking at it this way. Another way to be able to do that is to take regular typing paper like this. Typing paper, how old am I? Typing paper, and take a solo cup and just trace around it. So we're talking simplest of simple. Trace around it, and now whatever you want to appear, you can draw something here if you want to, but then you can highlight it from over here. So in this particular case, I was writing Kesler science on this side when I was playing with it, and then Higgins said, well, why don't we do it like this? So you put it on the cup, and you put the hole in the cup back here. So now watch what you have. You can kind of see how this works. Here's the pumpkin, and then here's the coloring on the back side. Okay, so now all you do is this, you tape it in place. So this goes here like this. Super, super simple for kids to be able to make. Got to do something, a little something for everyone. So if you're an early childhood educator and you're going, what do I do? This can work for sure. So there it is. But now when you light it up with a black light, even with the lights on, it should, it starts to show up. But Higgins, go ahead and flip the lights. There you go. Look at this. There it is. So you can just kind of see what that looks like. Oh, that really is cool. So you can kind of see that it just glows in there. So that's kind of fun. I don't know if you look over here, Higgs, will you switch cameras and see what that looks like over here? Oh yeah. That's pretty cool as well. Look at that. So when I take it away, it's here. And when we look at it this way, so the same thing with the other messages that are here. So here's a bat with the same thing. So the bat kind of appears in the black light. Try back here again, Higgs. What does that look like? Yeah, so there is the bat that looks this way as well. So that's kind of fun. So here's what it looks like this way. It's just kind of blowing out with these cameras, but trust me, it looks pretty cool. And then put your message if you want to on the very back as well. So you can't see the message here, but of course, when you look at it here, there's our message. So this says wow, or it says mom. I don't know which one. Yeah, oh, there it is. It's mom this way, and it's wow this way. You've got it. So simple little messages that appear on the cup just using a black light. So it's super, super simple to be able to do using our cups and playing with it that way. Okay? Questions about those things that glow, because we're going to have to use that atomic glow and something else here in just a second to change some things. So any questions?
No, I'm here good with everything as far as I see. Yeah,
got it. So let's say you're making slime. So if you want to make slime that glows, pretty easy. You can use the clear PVA or the clear Elmer's glue. Take your highlighter, squeeze that out into the glue. Now you would have slime. So here's your slime goo that looks like this. We used to use as slime for Steve Spangler Science, right? This is actually string slime that I'm going to show you here in a second. But now all of this will glow. So that's going to look pretty fun. So, so when you make your regular slime, it's going to glow. It'll look fantastic. This is string slime. So I think you're familiar, but if you're not familiar with string slime is not your typical PVA or glue. It's actually called sodium alginate. So sodium alginate is a derivative of a kelp, a seaweed, and it's what they use as a thickening agent. They use it in lots of molecular gastronomy. Maybe you eat it if you eat boba. You eat it if you eat those popping boba that you get at the yogurt store that pops inside. The outside part is the sodium alginate. All right, so we're going to make worms, but we're going to make worms over here. So it doesn't use borax, it uses calcium chloride. So this is pickle juice. And when I say it uses calcium chloride, I'm looking at this, it's CaCl2. So here's our calcium chloride that we would call activator solution, but it's just calcium chloride, super, super inexpensive that you can find online. So there's your calcium chloride. So calcium chloride is in there. I could really use pickle juice. As soon as the calcium ion touches the alginate that's here, you get you get some linking, some cross-linking. So let's spin it around here. Higgins, you can go ahead and turn it off and turn the lights off and kind of see what this looks like. I think that should look good. And so as soon as it does look good. Look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? Look at that. Those are your Insta-worms. And so there's your glowing Insta-worms just because I used a highlighter. Now, can you see that it's now on my hands? So me putting my hands in the water and everything else, you can see that now everything is going to glow, which means when I touch my face and everything else, all my body will glow later on as well. So you just have to be careful where you touch. And so now we reach in here and we pull this out, and here are my Insta-worms with our calcium chloride. So that looks kind of cool as well. All right, so just to show you how cool it looks when it's glowing that way, that now introduces us to that next piece. So here, yeah, I can drape them over here as well. Well, that looks great. Yeah, so there's our glowing worms. So those are kind of fun. Okay. All right. So now let me release the formula, or give you the formula for vampire slime. For years at Steve Spangler Science, we sold vampire slime. What's vampire slime? Vampire slime is green slime. So here is vampire slime. So let's actually do this. So this is PVA. You could use Elmer's glue if you want to. So we're going to use that PVA, and now we're going to use a borax mixture to link it together. So here's what it looks like this way. I put it in a little shaker cup so we can kind of see it this way. And let me see with my pen if it looks pretty good this way. It should. Oh yeah, it's nice and green. So you see how green it looks there? So that's the fluorescein. So you know that we had to put fluorescein, but it doesn't look the same as this looks. That's because there's another dye in here as well that I will teach you how to use and where to find. So look at this. It's green. So there's our green slime. Got it? So let's make it. So quick little recap. You're using borax to cross-link those molecules. About that much should be perfect. You can see everything measured out so precisely, right? And if you're making slime for Halloween, and you should, why wouldn't you be making slime for Halloween? I like shaking it this way. So head to Costco, Sam's Club, and just find those portion cups that have the lids. They come as a package deal usually. So you get 50 portion cups and 50 lids for, I don't know how many bucks. It's not terribly expensive, but now the kids have something to take their slime home in, not a Ziploc bag. They're not fiddling with it. It's just they can shake it in here and they can mix it that way, but they're not going to tear it like they used to tear the bags for me. So here's my shaker slime. Let's see if it's any good. Oh, I think it's looking good. Look at that. That's an unusual green. Does that look good? So under the black light here like this, take a look at this. Here's my green slime. So my fluorescent green slime, which is cool. But lights back on, Higgins. Take a look at this. This slime, while it's green this way and it looks fantastic, watch what happens when I take regular light like this and shine it. Or here, Higgins, I can go to the front. Let's go to the front. Watch this. When I shine light through it like this, it turns red. It's blood. So there is, oh my gosh, these are this is vampire slime. Look at this. It's red with the light that goes through. It's green when you look at it this way. So it's green slime like this, but when the light goes through, it's red. It's because of the second dye that's in there, right? So the two dyes that are in there, if you take a look at the chat, Carly has put in the chat right now the link to the web page that I put up for you. There are two dyes that are in there. Number one is fluorescein, so that's the same stuff that's in the highlighter. The second one is a chemical called bromphenol blue. Bromphenol blue. You're going to find that at like a Flynn Scientific. So they have it. They make vampire slime. I gave them my recipe for vampire slime. I think they've kind of tweaked it and done some other things with it as well. But if you take a look at that write-up at the very end, you'll see how it works. What's going on here is that when you look at it this way, all of the light that is being absorbed, yet the green is being reflected. So that's why we see green. However, when the regular white light is pushed through here, it acts as a filter now, and all of the light is filtered out except for the red that passes through. So that's because that unique combination of those two dyes. So bromphenol blue, you'd think it'd be bromphenol red, but no, bromphenol blue. And then here is your fluorescein that's here. So that is how you make vampire anything. Could be vampire slime, could be vampire worms. We did the same thing with worms the same way with the sodium alginate, but those are the two chemicals that you need. The write-up will give you more instruction on how to do it. It really is there's no real science to it. Depending on the volume that you're making, whatever, you're just going to play with the dyes a little bit until you get a batch that looks pretty good. But you can see what my original batch looked like here in the bottle. It is kind of that dark, pukey green. Doesn't look very good. But man, does it look great for Halloween, because that green is fantastic. And then the light passing through, once that red hits, it's just so cool that you get it to look like that. Okay? Questions, Higgins, that are popping up?
Somebody asked if there's a way to keep the sodium, the alginate from not spoiling.
No, when we were making, at Steve Spangler Science, we were making Insta-worms. One of the formulation pieces was an additive that was in there that would keep it from molding. But it wasn't something, I mean, we worked with that company to be able to put the additive in there. It wasn't something that was commercially available. So it's one of those, we just needed to have a longer shelf life. We needed to keep it from bacteria for kids, any of those kinds of things. So So your sodium alginate, make up a new batch, make it a kind of a fresh batch when you're doing it. But if you don't make a ton of it, stick it on the shelf and expect that in 3 years it's going to be okay. It's going to have a shelf life of about a year for you if you make it up. Gloves on, try to keep it as sterile as possible. Distilled water when you're making it, and so make your worms that way. Okay.
Perfect. And then there were just a couple more that came through that were asking about the red, and I just want to let them know the link. Carly put the link in the chat, to the vampire slime, so you can see that just in case you missed it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let me add one more thing that I think it's kind of cool. You can kind of build the Halloween connection from there. Insta-worms, I wanted to build a real world connection with Insta-worms because I told you it's kind of like gummy bears, gummy worms, the outside coating of a popping boba or something. But there is a real reason for this, and it's something that you eat. Sometimes people suffer with acid indigestion, and you take an antacid for that. And there's a product called Gaviscon that helps with that. So Gaviscon helps with acid reflux. So acid reflux is what happens that your stomach acid comes back up into your esophagus and will burn your esophagus. So this tries to hold down or reduce that ability of your stomach acid to come back. How does it do that? Believe it or not, Insta-worms is the answer. So here's the model for you. You also will have a link to this. They're called Gaviscon worms. So you could make Insta-worms using some Gaviscon. Some people have done that. Not fantastic worms, but you can do that. Or I love this bigger scale demonstration that you can model. So here's what I have in front of you. I have a 5-liter flask. You don't have to do this. You could very easily do this with a smaller flask. And the directions that I gave you with that link that you're going to find, another link that will be in the chat, will show you how to do it with just a smaller bottle. But this Erlenmeyer flask is important because it simulates a stomach, and this will be the esophagus. The same thing could happen if I was using this funnel as well, right? And so I could do it, or this kind of beaker as well, a round bottom flask, I meant. All right, so this is stomach acid. When I say stomach acid, this is a 1 molar solution of hydrochloric acid. And there's a quick little rundown in there how you make a 1 molar solution of hydrochloric acid. So your stomach is about 3 molar, so it's not exactly as strong as what your stomach is, but we'll kind of watch what happens. So here's our Gaviscon. I'm going to pour the Gaviscon in, and I think you'll see it start to make Insta-worms. So there it goes. So it's making some worms there. That's pretty cool. Looking good. So there's our Insta-worms. Got it? So they cross-linked. They polymerized, but something else is going to start to happen. You're going to start to see some bubbling. And so there's a little bubbling action going on. That looks good. So now bubbles are being released. And as those bubbles are being released, probably bubbles of carbon dioxide, something's going to happen to those worms. So you just have to watch it and you have to be patient. But this is, again, what would happen in your stomach. Watch what happens. They start to lift up a little bit. That's cool. Look at this. Can you see it? And I'll turn it this way so you can see, so that you're not having to look through. So the worms are lifting up. Come on, more worms lift up. You can do it. Come on, little guys. Oh, there we go. Starting to pick back up again. Good. And so watch what happens. These worms will start to lift up and form a raft that covers the top here. Give it a little swirl. Simulate you kind of moving around. Come on, you silly worms. The one time that you don't want to take it forever. There you go. There you go. And there's our bubbles. Let's see if there's enough there. I tried to not make it too acidic, but I do want them to rise. Oh, there we go. They start to rise up. There you go. Look at this. They'll form a raft. They will seal the very top right here as it starts to come up. So they will seal it. There it is. So yeah, there you go. So you'll see these worms over time slowly lift up and form this raft that's here that happens in your stomach at the base of the esophagus to keep the acids from coming up and burning in your esophagus. So that's how Gaviscon works using those Insta-worms. But I think it's kind of cool when it happens a little bit slowly. I'm impatient now because you're watching and you're sitting home going, keep it going, science guy, keep it going. But oh, there they go. This is pretty good. If somebody's tuning in right now, they have no idea. So I will just tell them, so this will be the part where they're tuning in. So anyway, the water in Denver has these worms in it, and we're finding that they're hatching, and we don't know what to do. So if anybody has any ideas, just let us know. That'll mess them up for a while. Okay, here we go. It's gonna lift up, and just very, very cool. So all I used was hydrochloric acid. There it is, it's going. There's gonna be applause, Higgins, there's gonna be applause. I know that he's got it. There it is, but look at that layer. Oh, there it is. See, I was just impatient. I wanted it to be able to lift and to look good, but to show them why that works and how these Insta-worms that we're playing with are actually used to help somebody when they have acid reflux, and why Gaviscon works, you now know why. Now, this ultimately will dissolve over time. It's not like it's there forever, so that will dissolve over time. I guess ask a doctor or something what the chemistry of that is, how that works. But I understand that that will help kind of cure that problem. But I think it just looks really cool. Okay? Thank you. No, tip your waitress. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much. No, very good. All right, so there it is. All right, as Ali said at the very beginning, there's way too much stuff to show you, and so we did put together a 4-hour workshop. It is our Halloween Science Workshop. We talked to you about it the last time we did a Kesler piece, our workshop, for those people that were getting a jump on Halloween. Some people now that first weekend of October are getting serious about Halloween. So it is a special extra workshop that's on the side. It's called our Halloween Science Workshop on Demand. 4 hours on our learning management system that you can take. We'll send you a box of goodies that will have kind of the harder to find things, the atomic glow, the universal indicator, growing body. I mean, those things that you kind of see there that they're difficult to find, that comes along with that as well. Higgins has something about the workshop, so I'll show it to you. That'll give me a chance to clean up a little bit, and I'll be right back to you. They just keep calling. You do not have to call. Hey, you don't have to call if you want to attend our Halloween Science Workshop for teachers. That's right, you can sign up online. In fact, our on-demand class, 4 hours of amazing professional development available to you. Start, stop, rewind. I'm going to give you dozens and dozens of ways to be able to create amazing experiences this Halloween and teach some STEM at the same time. Chemistry, electricity, ooey gooey polymers, the science of sound, special effects, states of matter. It's all there. It's available for you. Plus, all of our online resources. You can download all the guides, you have access to our videos, and we've even recorded a Halloween Science Assembly program that we recorded specifically for your kids to be able to watch. All that's available as part of our Halloween Science Workshop. Did I tell you, you can even download your certificate of participation. It's all there. It's happening right now with our Halloween Science Workshop. Register today, and you don't have to call. Carly will put that link if you want to be a participant in the Halloween Science Workshop. Anything and everything that I could think of with all the videos and all resources that are there. So if that's something you're interested in, huge thanks to Kesler for allowing me to be able to kind of share that with you as something that's above and beyond kind of what we're doing there or doing here for those people who are interested in some of this Halloween stuff. All right, we have something special for you. Ali's going to talk to you about it, but let me show you the demonstration real quickly. In that workshop, what prompted me to tell you about the workshop at this point here is we have an entire hour, I think, of just dry ice demos. Absolutely anything that you could ever imagine with dry ice. I'm going to show you in that workshop. We've done lots of things with dry ice. I went and picked up about 10 pounds of it today because we were playing with it with some other videos that we were doing. All of the dry ice, safety, everything that you need to know about that as well. I'm just going to use a couple chunks of dry ice down here. Just as a quick reminder, you take your cooler to the store when you're picking up your dry ice. Take your gloves so that you can handle it. You can pick up the bag. Typically, it will come in these bags like this. They are 10-pound slabs, about $1.50 a pound here in the Denver area. So I'm hoping it's about the same price for you. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper. Hunting season, of course, there's a lot of dry ice that's there. Dry ice, great, as a quick reminder, because it is frozen carbon dioxide, correct? It goes from a solid to a gas through sublimation, so it doesn't go through that liquid phase at all. Because it is a dry ice, because it is frozen carbon dioxide, when I add it to a liquid like that, we will get that bubbling and we start to get a little vapor that comes off. But in this particular case, our liquid is going to be, that's right, apple juice. So you could take a cauldron, for example, a big, well, I'm putting something around here, a big container, pretend like this didn't have Insta-worms in it, right? Big container that you might have with a ladle, put your apple juice in there, put your chunks of dry ice in, and now it does two things. Number one, over time, while it's bubbling away, and the kids are kind of excited about that, while it's bubbling away, it is now creating carbonic acid, and it is infusing that liquid with carbon dioxide. So you get the little tingly sensation on your tongue. It's carbonated. Pretty cool way to be able to do it. You never serve it with the dry ice in there. I know at parties and sometimes at bars or whatever, about this time of year, they'll take a little chunk of dry ice and put it in. You're at a bar for adults, you're not with kids. So with kids, I never give them the glass like that has the dry ice there in the bottom. They can all look at it in the big cauldron. Then when it's all done, we can scoop it out and we can enjoy it. Does two things. Not only does it carbonate it, but it makes it super cold. So you get a nice cold drink when you're done, and it's our spooky beverage. Now, as simple as spooky beverage is, you would think that that's it. That's the simple little activity. We created a video, one of our 6 science videos in a series, how to create a spooky beverage, and every year it gets a couple million views. But the team at Kesler looked at that and said, but wait, that's just a starter. That's fun, but there's a lot more that you could do with that. And so that was part of the collaboration that we worked with the Kesler team when we started a brand new thing called STEM Starters. So Ali, we're gonna bring you in here and highlight it, and then we're gonna get ready on this side to be able to show them kind of the surprise and what you've put together for them. So there is your spooky beverage there. Take us from there, Ali.
All right, Steve. As Steve said, we were really excited when we saw all of Steve's awesome videos because they just scream science and engagement to us. So we decided that we needed to have something really cool to do with these products. So let me show you if I can share my screen here. Okay, so what we did is we took Steve's 6 science videos and we took 40 of them and we wrote materials so that you could show the video to your class and then work with your students about that content at any age level from early education up to grade 8. Here's the early education edition. They always start off with teacher instructions, a link to the video, some standards information, and some important words that you might need. Then we have the early education video has this little, or a worksheet has this little beaker down here with an E on it for early education that the students won't know anything about. And they're going to do some coloring and some counting. There's your answer key. Then we're going to have a kindergarten and grade 1 edition. And once we get into kindergarten and grade 1, there are some very subtle symbols down here because we've differentiated. We've given you 2 versions of these for everything above the early education. So we've got slightly more advanced language here. There's always a code at the top. So if you want to send these home with students to have their parents work on it with them, you can have them just scan that code to bring up the video. Then we get into the grades 2 and 3 version, which has them doing, I can watch like a scientist. They're going to do some drawing to just show that they watched the video. They've got some reading to do. They're going to think like a scientist and think like an engineer. Then we've got the modified version, which has been simplified in its language and answer choices. Then we get in the 4-5 version for grades 4 and 5. And now we've got more specific questions, higher level reading. We've got actual materials that they've got to design and experiment with. And then we get all the way up into the grades 6 through 8 edition. And here, this is the highest level reading, the highest level creation, and its modified version. So we have a ton of activities built in here for you to engage with your students and keep that Spangler fresh feeling all day.
Pretty fun, pretty fun, but we wanted you to have one to be able to try it, and she didn't show you one little piece. Ali, if you share your screen again, take us to the point where there is that QR code, because what happens with all of these is that each one of these has a QR code and the link that takes you to the video. Video is a Vimeo video, so many of you are familiar with being able to use that. So it's not a YouTube video, there's no commercials on the video, so you can either scan it on your phone, show it that way, or just click that safe link, as we call it. It will pull the video up immediately and you play the video. So every one of these has that in it and kind of put in there and embedded as well. All right. Now, if you could imagine that happens with each one of the videos. So we decided to kind of roll this out for two different ways. So we know that some of you are not Kesler Science members, and you should be a Kesler Science member, but some of you are like, but I don't use all the other things that are there. So we have a special opportunity for those people who are not Kesler Science members. If you're a Kesler member, these will appear in your program, in your dashboard. You can use it. Ali can address that. If you're not a Kesler member, here's what we put together for you. So Higgins, go ahead and highlight my screen if you don't mind, and then we'll go ahead and kind of show what that looks like. Good, so we're there. Excellent. So we're gonna put a link in the chat right now that will take you to a new page called STEM Starters. This is a brand new program. I'd like to put one of these lessons in your email box every Monday. Carly said, let's send Steve Spangler to you every Monday. That would be a disaster. Your administrators would go crazy. Like, oh my gosh, the guy's catching things on fire. We'll send you the video. How's that? And we're going to send you now those lessons that you saw. So right now, you can download exactly what Ali just showed you, but two forms. You can download the PDF, but you can also download the PowerPoint editable slides. So everything that we just shared with you is now editable. That's in PowerPoint, so you can use it on your smartboard, you can use it on your projection, whatever you're doing that way. You get both of those. Of course, the video is embedded with both of those. We're going to do that for you every week from now until the end of the school year. So every single week, you'll get a new one of those lessons written up that completely, and you can subscribe to that if you want to for $39. So for $39, every single week, we'll put those lessons in your inbox. All you have to do is click on the link that's in your chat. It'll take you to this page, scroll all the way down, and that one page will take care of absolutely everything. So again, this is for those people who are not Kesler members. These are people who are not doing that just yet. There's a lot of people who come and watch that are sitting there on the fence going, I don't know if I should subscribe for a full Kesler membership. This is my way of being able to introduce you to the amazing things that the Kesler team does. I'm so proud and honored that they would take our stuff and, as I say, frame it with significance, right? Make it so that not only are they aligned to TEKS if you happen to be in Texas, but they're aligned to NGSS. So what she rolled through, every one of those lessons that you're going to get are aligned to NGSS with the teacher notes, differentiated lessons. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a pretty good value for about $1 a week to be able to do that. It's $39 total, not $39 per month. No. $39 total for the year. It's the best, least expensive subscription that you could have, I think, with the highest quality resources that are there. All of us have been to certain sites where you download something for $5, $10 and you get it and you go, I don't know, I think anybody thought through that lesson. You can rest assured that the people at Kesler thought through the lesson. But don't take my word for it. Download this one for free. So go to the link, even if you don't sign up, go to the link, download both of those. All you have to do is click on both of those. They're going to go to your downloads folder, your desktop, wherever you're going to send them to. But I think you're going to like them. So just keep on scrolling down. Give us the information down there. Monday will be your very first subscription. Fair enough? So next Monday, for those people who subscribe, we'll do that. If you're a Kesler member, you don't have to do it. But if you're a Kesler member and you want to be a part of this and just get them for every single week, then I guess you could do it that way as well. But really wanted to give that to you as a resource. We've planned out the first 2 years for you. You're going to be able to go for 2 years. And so we're crossing our fingers that you absolutely love this. At the end of this first year, your kids will have some great resources to really get them thinking like a scientist, aligned to the standards as well. Okay? We can answer more questions about that at the end if you have that, because I have one more thing that I want to show you that I think you're going to think is really, really cool. It's going to save you a little bit of money, and that will kind of get us wrapped for the night. Fair enough? All right. Got to do a little something old, something new, right? Something borrowed from all of you. And so over the years, I've loved doing boo bubbles. You know that we play with that bubble solution. You can bounce on your hands like this, that kind of thing. Carly, could I ask you to come up and help me by just holding on to this? And I think I have a towel. I should have gotten this out ahead of time and practiced with my towel, but I think that this will work pretty well. I'll cross my fingers that it works. Here's my towel here, like that. Good. Here's my towel. All right. So here's how you do boo bubbles. First of all, I found this plastic jar at Walmart. So here's our plastic jar. Cost me a couple bucks. To the jar, I need to put this hose in the jar. So I found this little connector here at Home Depot. Hook the connector in there. You could very easily put a hole in there, as you're going to see here in just a second. Put some glue around there. Phil, whatever his name is, Swift, would be very happy if you use Flex Seal. I don't know. Put it in there. Everything will be just fine. The last thing is you need some dry ice. Well, you need a good helper. So Carly, there you go. Here's our good helper. I've got some bubble solution, so we need that as well. And I've got my dry ice, so my dry ice goes in here. So the good part of this is that it's visible, it's fun. I'm going to use my cap here. I never would put anything into a jar, dry ice into a jar that wasn't vented. So in this particular case, I can control the bubbles that are coming out this way. Got it. So this is old hat for so many of you. Stick with me because I got a variation for you coming up. So now if I control it this way, I can make the smoke come out over here. Looks good. Exfoliator as well. Like it. All right, ready, Carly? So hands out that way. If I dip down here, I now can control this, and here's my boo bubble. So here's my bubble. There it is. There. Oh, that looks good. Here's my little bubble filled with that carbon dioxide gas. And I can add more. Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can get one to drop. Yeah, maybe that one will go. No, it's just me. I'm making them slow. Try this one. Oh, they're popping now. So, but a tremendous amount of fun to be able to play with our boo bubbles. There's a good one right there. Look at that one. Looking good. So there's your boo bubble. All right. So it's an old activity that we've done. When I say old activity, I think I first put this out for teachers maybe 10, 15 years ago. Okay. I want to show you how to do this without dry ice. So last year I introduced you to another variation of that. And the second variation, I'm just assuming that you understand the science of the boo bubbles, the fact that the bubble doesn't pop when it's on the glove versus when it's on your hand because of oil and dirt. We're trying to eliminate that. So not only do I get a good bouncing bubble, I get all those other things. Last year, I showed you a variation that used this big contraption, which caused nothing but tons of emails going, but wait, this is $50 and whatever. It's a humidifier. It does work pretty well. So here's the humidifier that I found. There's a big pile of them, I think, at a Home Depot or at a Lowe's. I just modified it because why wouldn't I? Put the tube in here like this. So let me turn this on. So now this eliminates the need for dry ice. This will give us some fog that comes out the end here. So you can kind of see the fog that's there. There it is. So there's our mist. The problem with this has been not enough pressure to build a good bubble. So sometimes people would, oh, here we go, Carly. Would you try one of those? Sometimes people would try it and it wouldn't give them a good bubble. And there just wasn't enough pressure to be able to do that. And the cost of the humidifier, but it is kind of cool. It keeps you from having to buy dry ice. And I know that a number of museums, we worked with a company called Hands On, which is a museum supplier of exhibits for museum. They'll use this in children's museums, for example. So something like that. But I wanted a total DIY version for you. Fair enough? So let me show you this. I'm actually going to make it for you from beginning to end. So some of you have said, Steve, you've already made the contraption. Could you just show us how to do these sometimes? So let me make it for you, drill and everything from beginning to end. So I'll show you all the supplies that you're going to need and kind of put these together. All right. So I've got this. I think we're good. All right. So I'm going to use this jar. So a plastic jar that I found online. I've got a link to my Amazon page. So you're fine with that. Don't worry about it. You can kind of go back down and monitor chat if you want to. And I can do this. Yep. All right. So here's my jar. Now, here's what I'm going to do to make the fog is for $11. I found this on Amazon. This is a mister. So this is what they put in all the things that you find you know, it's like a fancy fountain or whatever, and you walk past it and it looks like it's smoking or whatever. Well, this is the ultrasonic device that does that. So this is what now makes those molecules vibrate very, 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 very quickly, produces that fog. And so this is the device here. So let me plug it in. First of all, I'll put this in water just so you can kind of see what this looks like. And I'll reach around here and plug this in. So here's what it looks like. All right. So now, no, there's no dry ice or anything. So this is our mist that's here, our fog that gets produced. So that would be pretty cool if I could put that in this jar here and now control the bubbles coming out. I could have a boo bubble generator where I never have to buy dry ice ever, ever, ever. All I have to do is plug this in, have some bubble solution, and I'm ready to go with the kids. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to unplug this because there's no real on and off. You just have to plug it in and unplug it. They say it works best if it's just underneath the surface that you see here. So that's where I'm going to kind of measure out all of this with our jar. So the first thing that I need to do is to put this in the jar so that, let me see if that's the right hole. I just started it. I'm using a cone drill, a conical drill like this. So that was probably I just had it in the garage. So that's probably, if you had to buy it, it's the most expensive thing. You don't have to do it that way. You might have a drill otherwise, but this allows me to drill holes of different sizes, and I can kind of be careful how I'm doing it. A little, I don't know if that's about the right size or not. A little bit bigger. Oh, thanks, Higgs. We're making it very DIY for you. So let's see if that's enough. So that comes in here like this. I think I'm gonna have to make it a little bit bigger, but we'll give it a try. So this goes in here. And now the little plug will go in. Oh, it has to be just a little bit bigger. See, this is like, you're having to watch the rough details. I think that'll do it. Hopefully that's a good one. So again, this comes in and we're just gonna put this in place so you get to see how it works. I was so surprised that the little misters are as inexpensive as they are. Now for a couple dollars more, you can get one. Oh yeah, that's good. So you see where the little grommet goes like this? So this is just how they come. Oh, that's great. So now, even if the water line is above this, it shouldn't leak. So there it is. Okay, got it? So that's what that's going to look like. And that's what that's there. So now on this side, I need the tube to come out here. So I always mess these up, it seems. So I'm going to try to be as careful as I can and not drill it too big. Oh, did I do it? Hopefully. Nope, a little bit bigger. One more. That's why these conical drills seem to work pretty well. Oh, is that it? I hope so. Good. And so this goes in here like this. Oh, it's going to do it. All right. So here we go. Come on. Oh, just a little bit more. A little bit more. I know this is compelling, isn't it? It's real compelling PD on a Wednesday. Oh, that's it. All right. So good enough. Probably a little bit looser than I would want. Got it. So that's it. There. And now I just want a smaller hole here as well. So let me try this one here, just a little bit smaller. And I want it so that little tube will go through. Let's see if that's enough for the little tube. Oh, that's going to be great as well. So this is going to be for our little tube. All right. So this is it. We've made it for you. Gone through the painstaking effort of making you watch it go through, but it really is that simple. Got it? So now let's put the water in here. So that's probably good. A little too much. I think that's about right. Got it? So I think that that's it. That's what we need. This goes on top. Bingo. So now, honestly, everything said and done, I don't think I have 20 bucks into this. And I'll spend $20 of dry ice every year that I do Boo Bubbles. So if this works well for you, Higgins, would you mind plugging here? I'll hold this. Would you mind plugging that in? And then we'll make sure that we go back to the regular one for you. Good. I'll put this down. So there it is. Bingo. Got it, got it. I almost bought Higgins a new iPhone. So now watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna blow on this end. So this end here, I control it by simply blowing and the fog comes out. Got it? So there it is. So now, let's see if I can have it here. Good. So I can get it to stay there. Let's see if I can make some bubbles. There it is. There is my boo bubble. No dry ice, just fog that's in there. Higgins is going to reach over and see if he can grab that. I don't know if it'll pop or not. Oh, look at that. That's pretty darn good. Look at that. And you'll see it starts to go clear. There is something amazing about that fog that's inside. That's a good bubble. It'll start to go clear. So you see how it's clearing like a crystal bubble? I think it's cool. Now, maybe it's just me. We'll see in the chat if you like it. But it sure is a new way to be able to do the boo bubble activity. I was originally inspired to do the boo bubbles from something called a leaky faucet by Bob Becker back in probably 1993 or so. Used dry ice, PVC. He had a great setup for it. Just kept on making it easier and easier, and I tried to refine it. But this, the latest contraption here, I think that's probably the easiest boo bubble maker that you could ever come up with, and controlled by you like this. And I think it'll be great. You're just not going to have to talk a lot during the day. You're just going to be blowing bubbles for the kids in their hands over and over and over. Okay, Higgins, and then we'll wrap it up.
Just a quick question. Somebody asked if you could use this same method to do the dry ice crystal bubble if there's enough pressure.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. I think so. That's a really good idea. The whole idea is that crystal bubble. Now, the crystal bubble is so cool. It uses that big cauldron, and then we take the cloth dipped in the bubble solution and wave it over the top like that, and you get this big one. So the dry ice just looks cool. I don't know that you're going to have enough pressure, but I think you could do this. Watch, bubble solution here on the table, and so I think I can do this. That's pretty cool this way. So it's a small little crystal bubble that looks cool like that. All right. And fog. So you remember, it's not going to, if you smell it, it doesn't make you cough. There's no carbonic acid or there's no carbon dioxide. Not that any of those are bad. It's not. It's just a different way to do it. And that's the secret device. If you're teaching STEM, that's the secret device that sits in all these things. And I didn't set it up. I just forgot right before we came on. But this genie lamp that you find at Home Depot, my wife says I have to stop buying this stuff because we need to save our money for retirement one day, she said. I don't understand. But this is supposed to smoke. And so you put water in here and you flip it on. And now this little lamp will smoke. It has this little mister that's in it. So if you were to take apart any of these things that they sell at Halloween that give you that smoke, not a smoke machine, but these kinds of things that all you do is add water and batteries, this is exactly what they're using. So those little misters, easy to do. And we'll put a link. Carly, I think I put a link to the Amazon. I put a list together, an Amazon list together. Higgins, you might even be able to find it if you go to my Amazon page. So I think it's amazon.com/shop/Steve Spangler. I put together a list of resources as a workshop link. And I put the actual mister in there that I found on Amazon. I put this jar, I put the tubing in there. I kind of put everything that was there for you to be able to see it that way. I've now made a mess everywhere. But I love how I can just control the fog and really make it look great, okay? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many things that we could have talked about. I promised that I would answer your questions. We'll always have an after show, so that's where you get to come back. If you were just wondering, look at this. It's all from the bottom to the top. There it is. Gaviscon worms are very, very cool. What a neat way to make a real-world connection with something with our stomach acid or having that acid reflux. We talked about things that would glow. We said the secret chemical was fluorescein. You find that, of course, in your highlighters. We've now learned how to take those those highlighters apart and use that dye in so many different ways. Everything from secret messages over here to eggs that were changing color to color changing, or to the slime, to ultimately color changing slime. So you got the recipe, or the secret recipe, for vampire slime, vampire veins as we used to call it, using two chemicals, fluorescein, and we used bromphenol blue as that second one. One allows, it filters out the light as it passes through. It only allows the red part of the spectrum to pass through. And the fluorescein, of course, reflects, absorbs all the light except for that green that it reflects, so our eyes see it that way. So you get kind of a double color that way. You got a chance to see stem starters, and so we hope that you're interested in that amazing thing that you have for stem starters. And I'd love to be able to put something in your inbox every week. I think there is something about that. I can tell you that we base this off the success of Science Minute. For those people that subscribe to Science Minute, you get our email every single week. The open rate on those are outrageously ridiculous. And one of the reasons we think is because you haven't been bombarded with 1,000 different choices. You have just one, and you look at it and go, I think I could use that, and you use that video. So these links don't expire. You get to use these links for the entire school year. Plus you get, you own them, so now they're yours. You have the downloadable PDF. And of course you have the PowerPoint as well. And the final thing that was sitting there was, if you really like this and you want to spend 4 hours with me, I would love to walk you through our Halloween Science Workshop on demand. You'll find that link in the chat as well, to be able to sign up for that course. Take it at your leisure. You know, it doesn't have to be all 4 hours at once. It's not a live event, so you can start, stop, rewind. We'll send you a kit that has some materials. It all comes as part of the registration as a separate workshop. So again, my thanks to Kesler for inviting me to and allowing me to be able to share that with you. We hope ultimately you see what the value is in a Kesler Science membership. It is the greatest resource for a teacher you could ever imagine. I want you to get a full membership from Kesler, and if you want to do that, then there's that link in the chat as well, where you just say, you know what, I'm all in. I love the PD. I love all the lessons that Kesler has to do. And you now are getting a glimpse that Kesler is now moving into our elementary grades. And the very first glimpse that you're getting to see with this is that STEM Starters package that's there. So hopefully there's a little something for absolutely everyone. If you're joining us as a guest, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the free resources that you have. And if you are a member, you need your 3 secret words. So Allie, what should those secret words be? They should be glow. Glow should be one of the words. What else do you think should be a secret word?
Wait, don't give them out yet. I have things I have to tell them.
Oh, you have to tell them before I give them the secret words?
I do. I have to tell them something.
Excuse me, hold on a second. I should have read the script for tonight. Okay, yes. Go ahead, Allie. Okay. Tell them.
Things. All right. First of all, just thanks everybody for being here. It is so much fun to have such a great crowd, all the energy in the chat. If you missed a link, something going by and you need it, now's the time to tell us so we can get that link to you. Okay, so just do that while I'm finishing my little housekeeping here so that we can get you the right links. Number 2, we goofed. No, I goofed. I goofed looking at the calendar and I got this on the wrong day. It is Yom Kippur. And because of that goof, we would never want anyone to miss this wonderfulness because of another obligation like that. So once the recording is processed, just for this one session, we are going to make this session available and a recording for 3 days for non-members. We will send you an email when it's ready. So everyone will get to see the recording, regardless of whether you're a member or not. Members, you need to have 3 secret words in order to successfully complete the assessment. Because we are a Texas registered CPE provider, we have to prove that the people who get certificates from us actually stayed and listened to the whole thing. So we have to give them 3 secret words that they put into a quiz. But members, you're going to have to write down these words because we were informed this afternoon by our host platform, Thinkific, that there is a bug that quizzes aren't working right now. So you're going to have to write it down. I'm going to have to email you when the system is back up again so we can put this in. So you ready? Here's your words. Grab your pen and paper. Glow.
Put it up, Higgins.
Slime.
Oh, that's a good one. Bubbles. Glow, slime, bubbles. Those are the three secret words.
Those are the three secret words. Yes.
Is it true, Allie, that if you go to Domino's and you say to them, excuse me, I understand I get 20% off if I give you the three secret words, glow, slime, bubbles, that they'll give you 20% off on your pizza?
That is not true.
That is true. Just try it, people. Just go, or Nordstrom, either one. Just head right on in and just tell them, these are the three secret words and I think I get 20% off. It's bound to work sometime if you do it enough, all right? Just do it enough, it's going to work.
Steve. So, Steve, Carly, Higgins, thank you all so much for another amazing night of exciting and inspiring professional development. We are all in your debt once again and looking forward to the next time.
You're very, very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much stuff. What are we going to do with this, Higgins? I guess we're just going to have to leave it up and keep on doing this for the next, I don't know, 23 days. Are you pretty excited about that?
Just keep it up till next year.
Yeah, keep it up till next year. Absolutely. We'll just keep it up that way. Ladies and gentlemen, huge thanks to Kesler. Thanks so much. If you're leaving us now, I appreciate you being